Good morning, everybody. Before I read my speech, allow me to say I'm very excited to see actuaries coming together in their numbers. When I started insurance, there was a definition of an actuary that you needed to cram, which was highly educated mathematician. So with 20 actuaries here, it shall be very easy for us as Zimbabweans to calculate all our risks, our financial issues, because these are highly educated. You just give each of them a portion and you have your numbers and figures very accurately calculated. Thank you very much, Mr. Mureriwa, for affording me this opportunity. On behalf of the Insurance and Pensions Commission, I take this opportunity to welcome you all to this momentous and memorable event. To our highly honored delegates from outside Zimbabwe, thank you for coming to embrace this historic event and bring new ideas to develop our local industry, that is the insurance and pensions industry, in line with international based practice. To the Actuarial Society of Zimbabwe, thank you for organizing this event at the right time where all stakeholders are looking for more transparency and disclosure for all practitioners in the insurance and pensions industry. As a reminder, our economy has been adversely affected by macroeconomic factors, to which the insurance and pensions industry is not an exception. The industry is still grappling with the post-effects of the inflationary environment, with our office regularly receiving complaints related to the conversion of the Zimbabwean dollar denominated insurance and pension benefits to US denominated benefits. I think those who read newspapers in recent, in fact, on the news today, there is a story where government intends to demagnetize the Zim dollar. One would quickly start thinking, what will happen to pension funds, investment, life investment policies? How much are they going to give people? Because majority of our monies were in those funds. What would happen? It's really a cause of concern, and with actuaries with us today, I think you will leave us with some advice on how we can approach government to get to ensure that policyholders and pension fund members get fair benefits from their investments. In this regard, our office is working with the Minister of Finance to ascertain through the Commission of Inquiry how loss of value to policyholders and pension schemes members can be explained and understood by all stakeholders. It is the Commission's belief that this event is a major step in our journey with the Actuarial Society of Zimbabwe and our regional partners in rebuilding the Zimbabwe insurance and pensions industry. I think you all agree with me that at one point we had a very vibrant insurance and pensions industry with all the structures in place, maybe more than many of our African countries. But because of this erosion, it has disturbed those structures, it has impacted negatively on the ethical practices and so forth. So we are concerned as a regulator for this industry. If we can have people coming to us, assisting us in coming up with the rebuilding of this industry, it will be very much welcome. The major expectation of the Commission is that actuaries, as a second line of defense, carry out their role more diligently, professionally, independently, and cooperate in the creation of a stable and vibrant insurance and pensions industry, and that policyholders' reasonable expectations are met. Notwithstanding the need by actuaries to retain and expand their clientele base, the Commission still expects independent and professional oversight and judgments from actuaries on the performance of insurance and pensions entities. Time has with whistleblowing to the regulator of matters that take time to resolve by an insurer or pension fund is fundamental. It is also the Commission's hope that communication on developments affecting this industry are communicated timelessly in order to allow for prompt change of regulations and guidelines on how insurance business in Zimbabwe should operate. However, on a worrying note, emerging local experience seems to be demonstrating divergence from sound actuarial practice by some actuarial firms. Such practices include, but are not limited to, the following: failure to separate shareholder funds and policyholder funds in life insurance business, non-disclosure of stress test and profit test results in actuarial reports at product development stage, qualitative judgments and justification on the adequacy of the capital required to underwrite new products versus available capital, qualitative judgments and justification on the adequacy of reserves of short-term insurance companies. As we move towards actuarial input in short-term companies, the Commission is very keen to see actuaries and the Actuarial Society of Zimbabwe taking also a keen interest in advising the short-term industry so that they run their entities professionally and informed than the thumbsuck and ways that would not guard against potential risk to the insurance company. However, on in terms of Circular 1 of 2004, all general insurers are now required to get actuarial certification on the adequacy of their reserves. Though compliance by general insurers to submit actuarial reports by 30 April 2015 was deemed satisfactory, the Commission is noted with concern that some of the actuarial reports lacked enough detail to justify why certain actuarial judgments and recommendations were made. It is therefore our hope that as the industry builds enough experience and develops a data bank, more accurate and sound actuarial assumptions and judgments can be made in respect of soundness of general insurance companies. Why we are also excited as the Commission is with the coming in of the actuarial input in the general insurance. In Zimbabwe, we have had an experience of many of our general insurers folding, failing to stand the challenges of our economic environment. And our belief is the major reason is there is no informed decisions that could be timely if they come from the actuaries. We really want you as actuaries to come up with models that can be applied even to us as regulators so that we'll be able to have correct insight on every general insurer. It is very critical because we have had more than almost 10 of our players fold, and I think the major reason is no actuarial input. Why are life companies surviving even in a stormy economic environment? I think they've got correct advisors within the actuarial field. So if we can also have that coming to the general insurers, we believe it's going to assist us achieving stability in the general insurance environment. Let me also take this opportunity to announce that the relationship between the society and the Commission has improved significantly in the recent past, and this has helped in closing some of the observed gaps between the two parties. In 2014, the Commission is in collaboration with the society called for the registration of all actuaries, foreign and local, practicing in Zimbabwe to ensure that actuaries are accountable for their actions. An observation that we saw, why we say this relationship is going to assist us, there were people who were coming, actuaries coming to our markets and do business, which we find very healthy, but sometimes, especially in the experience of this hyperinflationary environment, we then observed that some of the judgments were not actually informed because of the expertise of the commission, of the actuary, but maybe because he or she would want to retain business, he would then be pushed by the regulated entity to come up with some funny figures. Then few months down the line, the player then falls. But you were told that the player was sound and was much capable of protecting those who have insured themselves through that player. It is a worrying thing, and we hope this convention will help us address those areas as well. But I'm very excited that the Actuarial Society of Zimbabwe has taken steps which have helped us close those gaps. The role of the actuaries in the pension fund industry in ensuring policyholder protection and good governance practice cannot be overemphasized. Exclusion of outstanding pension contribution from yearly financial reviews or actuarial valuation is considered one of the major regulatory concerns and is deemed a real dilution of member pension entitlements. We have seen many of our players in the insurance, in the pensions industry, failing to remit contributions. And when we do our calculation, the soundness of this pension fund is for some reason, some people then exclude those. But we found those coming from actuaries who are not within our market. And maybe through that way of getting wrong information or information that they are given is meant to convince the regulator that the player is still sound. So we request the players in the Actuarial Society to look out on that, because it's a major issue. Most of the pension funds that we have, most of their assets today are in those area non-paid contributions. So at retirement, we'll be shocked because many pension funds will fail to meet their obligations. So please look out on that and advise on time so that we take appropriate action. In light of the changing business and risk environment, the Commission is also at an advanced stage of reviewing all the 3 acts under its administration, namely Insurance and Pensions Commission Act, Insurance Act, Pensions and Provident Fund Act. It is our hope that all actuaries practice in this market will take this time to familiarize themselves with the new bills before doing additional work for the industry. Incidents of actuarial reports citing outdated laws and regulations has also been noted with concern, and appropriate action have been taken to correct such anomalies. Our hope is that the convention will help improve the way actuaries carry out their duties, thus shaping the future of our local industry. It is the Commission's strong feeling that more engagement and collaboration between all stakeholders is key to the development of a more vibrant, secure, and stable industry. In view of the relevance, importance, and benefits likely to be derived from this conference by our local industry, I declare this conference officially open. Thank you.